Aaron Kong with the Osmosis Foundation, and obviously that's one of the core development teams for Osmosis, which is it's the DeFi hub for the Cosmos ecosystem, which is essentially this network of chains that are all connected via IBC, Inter-Blockchain Communication Protocol, but all these chains are all L1s. So within the entire industry, it's a large, probably the third largest ecosystem, but fastest growing because the tech is just better and people are opting to choose the Cosmos SDK tech. And what people don't know is like even chains like Kronos and like Crypto.com are using this, and they just don't advertise it. So within the Cosmos ecosystem, Osmosis is this economic hub for the entire ecosystem. Yeah, well, I've never heard it put that way as a core mission, but I guess the core mission would be essentially acting as this kind of like a think of it like a global shipping port where you have economies coming in and bringing in shipping containers and interacting through a single port, whether it's coming in from Shanghai to this global shipping port or coming in from San Francisco. They're all meeting in this one place, and what they do after that, whatever they want, doesn't really matter, but they're all using this single place to transact because this is where all the liquidity is, this is where all the interoperability is, this is where all the relayers are connected, and this is also where all the best UX is as well. So it's people don't want bad UX, people don't want to deal with gas issues, and something as simple as being able to transact on Osmosis with any token as your fee token is just a better UX. And obviously this is something we're improving on every few months, new iterations. And I think probably, today is around July 2024, so probably in roughly 3-ish months, I think the end game of UX will be starting to get pushed out from Osmosis, and within 6 months to 9 months, I think we'll have the best in class UX in the entire industry. But yeah, so a lot of people see Osmosis as this global shipping port, and you can see that all the volume kind of goes through Osmosis. All the people go through Osmosis and go out of it as well. They route through Osmosis, and then all the IBC volume is also on Osmosis, which in IBC volume just means kind of like bridging volume. This is hundreds of millions a month, and the second best isn't even close. So obviously decentralization is one of the most hyped things to push in crypto. Now, this doesn't mean everyone cares about it, but everyone should care about it because whether it's from a security standpoint, whether it's from a trust standpoint, or whether it's just from being safer when it comes to interacting with maybe entities that dislike things that are not decentralized, to avoid specifically saying anything there. And within Osmosis, maybe a decentralized validator set, maybe geographically decentralized, even decentralizing your communities, giving tools to the communities. So instead of the foundations that shouldn't have all the power, but obviously having quite a bit of weight, they need to kind of diversify and separate how everything is built. Whether it's the community support in Osmosis is done by the Osmosis Support Lab, which is a DAO that's funded through governance and approved and mandated by governance, and this is a decentralized way to provide support. So instead of calling your customer support that is run by Coinbase or Binance, and it generally sucks and you can't even reach them, and good luck reaching them, you might have to walk down to San Francisco and knock on their door or something. On Osmosis, you have 24/7 live customer support through the Osmosis Support Lab, the OSL. So that's just one example of decentralization. There's a grants program that funds things for the Osmosis ecosystem. They're similarly funded by by governance, and so instead of the foundation paying for things and directly controlling things, the grants program gets to make those calls, and the grants program might not agree with the foundation, and this is, well, a good and bad thing, but like it's better. It's only bad because we're like, oh, people are disagreeing with us, but it's good because they're disagreeing for their own reasons and they have that power to disagree. Now how this, I guess, like decentralization on the data side, like one example is, KYVE brings, decentralized data. And not only is this incredibly useful for like the community because anyone can just plug into this, it's actually being used by the community. There's a guy, going back to the OSL, the Osmosis Support Lab example, his name's Max Power, and he's basically maintaining this group chat of like technical support and the technical community of Osmosis, which is like a few hundred people in that group chat. And he's like this famous tinkerer across the cosmos. He oddly knows about every single chain and how to provide support to every single chain, and he knows how to like go in and like look at different things and set up bots. And he suddenly stumbles across KYVE, and he's like, wait, this is the coolest tool I've ever come across. And he couldn't even believe that it existed. And it's just like, wait, like this actually exists. So whether it's on Osmosis, providing this like decentralized data, and the fact that you can actually like go through and look at the entire history of Osmosis's blockchain in a decentralized way via KYVE is incredibly cool. But all these other chains can do the same thing, and not just Cosmos based L1 chains, but chains that expand, whether it's like I believe you guys are saying like other L2s and other ecosystems, and you guys can plug into anything. I think this is like incredibly valuable and unique, and I don't think many people are pioneering this, and it seems like you guys are pioneering this. Yeah, I kind of touched on this earlier. Probably over the next 6 to 9-ish months, like we'll have the UX endgame out, and this is essentially like, what is the UX endgame? Well, it's like, how do you get your grandma onboarded to crypto? And if you can do that, this means you can onboard anyone into crypto. And for us, this is there are a few key things like smart accounts. You can log in with your Face ID across many different devices and have the same account. This is obviously like kind of like a Google login, but even easier, your Face ID. But then you don't have to deal with like losing your keys anymore and like worrying about which wallet you installed. And then suddenly for some reason your web browser is incompatible, and then you can't even log in anymore after like it forced you to reinstall, and you're like, oh shoot, where are my keys? So smart accounts will be huge. One-click trading, something that essentially allows you to opt in once early on, and then instead of having to sign every single transaction, let's say you have like 100 transactions a day, like this is a pain in the ass. What you want to do is you opt into one-click trading, and then you can set a timer for like 1 week, and then for the whole week you don't have to do it anymore. We also just we'll have like advanced trading features as well. We'll be able to bridge different assets from other ecosystems, so we can source this liquidity from other ecosystems instead of like you're stuck on Osmosis and you can only trade assets that are on Osmosis. We can dispatch messages to Solana or Ethereum and go and bring those assets back for you, or even just leave them over there. But it's on your smart account ideally. Other things like alloyed assets. There's like so much fragmentation of different types of assets right now, whether it's let's say like Bitcoin, there'll be WBTC from Ethereum, there'll be WBTC on Osmosis, WBTC from Kava. There's Nomic Bitcoin, there's going to be Stacks Bitcoin, there are like 10 different Bitcoin L2s. And if you have 20 different forms of Bitcoin, you don't have 20 different, well, you could have 20 different liquidity pools, but this is a pain in the ass. And essentially alloyed assets creates a stable pool where you can have all the forms of Bitcoin into a single pool, and it pumps out a single token that represents a share of that pool. Obviously there are security features in that pool, that way you don't have to like worry about bridge risk, but this solves fragmentation within ecosystems. So now that that's kind of solved, the entire Cosmos has one unified form of Bitcoin, but we can also do this for any asset, so Ethereum or Tether as well, or different forms of Solana. So this will be very, very good for users that don't have to like pick from different assets.